welcome back. Are you tired of hiding your missing or unhealthy teeth?
Well, board-certified periodontist Dr. Richard Aguila of Jacksonville Dental Specialists is here. And using Hybridge dental implants, you and your team of specialists can create life-changing smiles. So, Doc, talk about being a periodontist and how that helps your patients.
Yes, periodontics is one of the 9 recognized specialties by the American Dental Association. And my specialty deals with the gums, the bone, and my specialty deals with the surgical aspect of dental implants. So that's what I specialize in. My partner is a prosthodontist, which is also one of the 9 recognized specialties, and his specialty is on the restorative side. Okay, so our additional 3 to 4 years of residency training of treating the most complex, complicated cases allows us to bring that to Jacksonville. And when you're treating the most complex cases, you don't want to see a general dentist, okay? You want someone who's had the training, the experience to treat these cases. And we're, again, one of the only facilities in Jacksonville that truly has 100% specialty care 100% of the time, where you're seeing a specialist 100% of the time. So that's a big benefit we have. We use our training and expertise, and we've helped a lot of folks get the treatment that they need.
So many people are scared of oral surgery, and I've been doing these interviews with you long enough to know that it seems like such an easy process. Talk to us a little bit about the peace of mind that, as far as Hybridge protocols are concerned, with the surgical procedure.
Right. We are the only Hybridge certified provider in Jacksonville. And the thing about being Hybridge certified is we utilize standard surgical protocols that have been around for a while but have been perfected over the past 10, 20 years. We use the most current technology, cone beam CT scans, digital planning software to plan our cases, to almost do virtual surgery before we actually do the surgery. You combine this with the laboratory that we use up in Rochester, and it just comes as a total package where everything is very predictable, everything's simple, things are done minimally invasively, and patients are assured that they get good treatment outcomes when we follow these protocols.
Talking about Hybridge full mouth restoration, if somebody has periodontal disease already, can they still be helped? Can you still do this with them?
That's a good question. It's oftentimes asked. And what periodontal disease is, it's a chronic infection that affects the supporting structures of the tooth, okay, the gums and the bone. And for patients with chronic, generalized periodontal disease, it's a chronic infection. And the thing with Hybridge is when you remove the teeth, you get rid of the infection. So you almost establish a completely healthy environment. And the two most common causes of tooth loss are tooth decay and periodontal disease. With implants, you totally get rid of tooth decay, because that's one thing implants and implant prosthesis you can never get decay with. As far as periodontal disease, you are less susceptible to periodontal disease whenever you have implants as compared to teeth. It doesn't mean you can totally ignore your implants and don't have to get them cleaned and maintained, but you're less susceptible to periodontal disease, which makes them, again, a lot more predictable long term.
For patients out there who are evaluating their dental implant options, what more can you share about the Hybridge certified practice and what you all provide?
Yes, again, our practice is 100% specialty care 100% of the time. You see ads on TV saying you can get everything done on one roof, but typically it's done with a surgical specialist and a general dentist. Ours is different. We have a surgical and restorative specialist with both me and Dr. Naraki. Another way that we stand out is just our level of experience. We do more full arch implant cases than anybody in Northeast Florida, and that speaks for itself. We've got a great staff who are fully involved in the care of the patients. They ensure that you have a good, positive experience. And again, we talked about the technology that we have. We talked about the laboratory that we use. And this allows us to do things, very, very predictably for patients.
We're out of time here, and we always cover so much information. But for the best information and get your questions answered, you got to go to the seminar. It's on your screen right there. It's Wednesday, October 17th at 6:30. It's at the Jacksonville office location. And Doc, that's really the best way to get your questions answered, right?
It is, yeah. You learn about all your implant options, you get to meet the doctors, meet the staff, and then from that you get a complimentary consultation.
Great. Thank you for being here. We want to thank Jacksonville Dental Specialists for sponsoring this segment. Again, for more information, just go to you can visit jacksonvillehybridge.com. You can also always call their office 904-584-3867.